Welcome. How are you, everybody? Happy Thursday. I'm Dr. Nicole. Welcome to the Boundaries to Bliss Lounge, where we have empowered chats. We talk about issues that will impact your life. And also, we like to relax, have a little fun, and chill out as well, too. I'm still getting the hang of this. I'm managing a lot of technology, so I'm sorry if I was a little bit late, but we're here now. It is so good to see you guys. I love doing this on Thursdays because like Thursdays are like my chill days. Fridays, I'm usually home. So Thursday night feels kind of like we get to have fun. It's our eat out night at home. So we might have like African food, Caribbean food, Middle Eastern food. And so, nobody's cooking. We're just relaxing. So it's kind of like my pre Friday night relax time. So I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you are having a good day. For those of you all who are observing Ramadan fasting, we are on day 20. Yes, before you know it, we're in the last 10 days. Before you know it, it will be over. And then we are so thankful that we made it this far. And we pray that we make it to the end happy, healthy, and whole. All right, everybody. So I was trying to also go live on Instagram, but it wouldn't, and my thing wouldn't connect. I actually had to restart my computer. All right. So, today's topic, we are talking about healing the strong Black superwoman persona and letting go of the need to do it all, right? Um, we tend to feel like we have to be there for everybody and do for everybody. And that causes a lot of problems in so many areas, but specifically with our health, with our wealth, and in our relationships. So, health, wealth, relationships. This is draining all three of those areas despite us doing the most, putting in the most, and trying to give the most. It's almost like it backfires. So, we are going to talk about it. But first, I want to know, tell me in the chat, where are you watching from? Where are you? I always like to see where people are. Are you in the States? Are you somewhere else? What time zone? So let me know where you are. And I always like to start also with something fun. What is something fun that you did this week? Did you do anything fun, fulfilling, nurturing, like that just made you feel good and warm and fuzzy inside? Something that wasn't necessarily something you had to do, but something you had fun doing. Let me think for myself. Tell me in the chat. What did I do fun? I did a bunch of stuff. Um, I went for a walk. I always walk every day, but I took a different route. Like I was going up to a different part of town, and I was like, I'm good for just pulling over. So I was like, let me just pull over. And I walked kind of like a little trail, like not too deep. Look, when I'm by myself, I don't go to all these unfamiliar places too deep. But I did kind of walk around the park and the little trail that they have, and I found like a little fountain or like pond with a little waterfall in it. So that was really, really nice. Um, and then the kids and I, we got home early. They finished their homework, and we decided to watch The Lion King early this after. Well, yeah, earlier this evening, this afternoon. The original Lion King. And I was looking at the date, and I said to myself, "My God, this was made 30 years ago, more like 31 years ago, in 1994. That is unbelievable." So we were watching The Lion King. Um, we had just watched Mufasa, the new one that came out, Mufasa the Lion King. We watched that. I went to see it twice because I went with one of my daughters and then with both of them together. So that was about a month ago. So I was like, you know what? I don't even remember if I saw the original Lion King. So let's watch it again. So that was super fun. We have fun. And I kind of teared up. All right, don't forget to tune in every Monday or check for the new episodes that come out every Monday of the podcast, my podcast, The Secret Formula of Femininity. We're in season 2, have been having some amazing interviews with experts and just people telling their story, as well as some solo episodes where we dig deep into reaching that next level of femininity and elevating your relationships to the next level. All right, so let's get into today's topic. Who here feels like you want to let go of the strong Black woman persona? Put a 1 in the chat. Who needs to let go of the strong Black woman? Who needs to let go of, um, who needs to drop the crown? I once had a challenge called Drop the Crown. I mean, not the crown, the cape. Who needs to drop the cape? I once did a challenge for women called Drop the Cape, Pick Up the Crown, right? You are a queen, but a lot of us are running around like Superwoman as opposed to getting the queen or the princess treatment. So, who here is ready to drop the cape, right? Who here was raised to believe that being strong was the core of your identity, especially as a Black woman, right? How many people have heard it? You are strong. We are a strong people. We are a resilient people. But has that been the only message? And has that like skewed your view of how you get to show up as a woman, right? There are a lot of pressures on Black women in particular to be a superwoman, as we call it, the strong Black woman or the SBW, the superwoman. And it becomes this identity. It's like a complex. And there's been all kind of research on it, the negative effects of it. And even in some ways, look, don't cancel me, guys, but the Black girl magic. Some people have said that this is like another form of the strong Black woman where we have to be one dimensional, which is why if you look at my journal and my t shirt line, Damsel Me Please, it's a way to flip the strong Black woman one dimensional viewpoint. It says we get to be weak sometimes, we get to be soft, we get to want to show that we need help or we might be in distress. And so, the Damsel Me Please is a way to flip it. But some people have said that the Black girl magic is another form of perpetuating like a one dimensional. We are these high achievers, Black excellence. But when do we ever just get to be without all of these titles, right? So let's go through some of what is the strong Black superwoman complex and how can we start to heal it? So it's characterized by a few things, the strong Black woman. One is unrealistic expectations of strength and resilience. So it's like saying that, you have to be extra strong, extra resilient. You have to bounce back. You can't show your weakness. You can't show when you are in need, right? That you have to just be that one that is always on 10, as we say, right? That is what strength is expected of us. The other thing is this socialized into this need to always help others. Like we have to appear benevolent, helpful, often at the expense of self-care. Who cares if I look a mess? Who cares if I haven't gotten my hair done or had a chance to relax or have a massage or even exercise or eat right? Right? Sometimes we are taking care of everybody, including the animals. We will be feeding the animals, walking them, changing their litter, changing this and that, and we haven't even eaten, right? So this strong need that we have been socialized that we are nurturers, yes, but this sort of expectation that we are always helping each other people, even at the expense of self care. And what this does is it leads to a pressure to always be on, pressure to deny what you need yourself. And there's been so many stories I've been, of course, there's research, but I've been seeing so many stories lately about women, young women, uh, you know, high achieving professional women, educated women, just having strokes and heart attacks and high blood pressure, diabetes, going into diabetic comas, and they're not even 50 yet. Some of them not even 40 yet, right? So that's like that thing where you are just denying what you need and not engaging in self care. The other thing is there's this twin pressure to both succeed professionally while also managing so much of the family responsibilities. And this is something that women tend to have to juggle in general, right? That they're trying to juggle, like we're climbing, as they say, the corporate ladder. And a lot of people have written about it, even a lot of, what's the woman? Susan, I forgot, her book was Lean In. And, she was talking about you need to lean all in. And a lot of people were criticizing it because they're like, it's a lot of pressure for women, right? But for Black women in particular, especially with this pressure of Black girl magic and Black excellence. And sometimes if you're the first generation to get higher education or to, break the glass ceiling or whatever, there is pressure to keep going and to also manage all of the family responsibilities. So it could be a lot of pressure. And then related to that, there is the burden of representation as sometimes the only Black woman in leadership positions. There was a case, I need to find her name. There was a Black woman, I want to say she wasn't a university president, she was a university administrator. And it was a toxic workplace. And by, various accounts, she was bullied, she was stressed out, it was toxic, and she ended up dying by suicide. And it was, I'm trying to find it. It was it was horrible. It was horrible, the fact that there seemed to be this pressure for her to also represent. It's not just that you have to be the one to be in that profession, but it's like you have to represent the whole race, and that is a huge barrier, or burden. I'm trying to find her story. It's a huge burden to carry, right? So that's also another part of it. And then there can also be a constant battle against discrimination, whether it's sexism or racism. And here's the funny thing, right? because I'm noticing with all of this stuff that's going on post election and people are up in arms and it depends. Some people like what's going on, some people don't. But one thing is there's this whole thing about the 92% because 92% of black women voted for Kamala Harris for president. And they're like, "You know what? The country did what it wanted to do, so I'm resting for the next 4 years. I'm not protesting. I'm not out on the picket line. I'm not the one to be spearheading this and that resistance. Let somebody else do it. I am resting." And I think that is so fascinating, right? So they got t-shirts and everything to say look, I'm part of the 92%, and it's an illustration of a black woman sipping her tea. So, I'm for it. I am for it. It's time to relax, experience joy, do what you need to do for you because you can't always be the one saving the world, right? You cannot always be the one saving the world. Can I get a yes for that, right? Can I get a yes in the chat? You get to rest. Let other people figure it out. Let other people be on the front lines. Let other people voice their resistance or whatever it is that they're feeling. It doesn't have to be you. And I always tell my clients, individual clients, this like the world is not going to stop if you rest. The world is not going to stop spinning. People's problems aren't going to suddenly get worse. Actually, they may get better because it's time for them to step up. So it's time for you to rest, sit back, relax, sip your tea, and you get the picture. All right, so let's talk about what are some shifts. All right, let's do a little music intro. Let me get All right. Yes, yes, yes. So that's the problem. But what is the solution? What is the antidote, right? It is the opposite of all of that. So, one solution starts with mindset, and you will never hear me come on live where I don't point out mindset changes that need to happen, right? It all starts with our mindset, how we see ourselves, what we think is possible, what we think we should or shouldn't be doing. So, one thing is in the mindset of redefining for yourself what strength means. What does it mean to be strong? So many women, when I would talk with, a lot of my therapy and coaching clients, and I'll be like, you don't have to be strong. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to express a need. It was so foreign to them. And some of them would fight me. And then later on, they would reach back out to me and say, "You know what? You were right. And I'm so glad you gave me permission to redefine strength." So, vulnerability is actually a sign of strength. It's a form of strength. Acknowledging that you need support and help, that's a form of strength. Acknowledging that you cannot do it is a sign of strength. We've been conditioned to just embrace one type of strength, which is outward, go, go, go. But there's other types of strength. There's strength in recognizing what your limits are and what you need help with, right? And that relates to the next thing, which is setting boundaries, because we tend to do the most for everybody without really taking time for ourselves. But in order to start taking time for yourselves, you have to be okay setting boundaries and disappointing people, right? Once you realize you cannot make everyone happy, there's a level of freedom that comes with that. So you have to also have boundaries between work and personal life and learning how to not just have self care be something that you only do like once a month or even once a week. You need daily me time, whether that's in the morning, time to yourself in the evening, stealing away time for a walk or meditation or a hot cup of tea. Like it's the consistency of taking me time, which is the key to self care. And that's a form of having boundaries because you're letting people know, like, this is time set aside for me. I don't care what your emergency is. I have a saying: other people's emergencies are not my emergencies. Just because it's urgent or emergent for you, that is totally separate from what it is to me, right? Your emergency might just be something on my to do list because you've waited until the last minute. You have decided that, you felt you could always count on me no matter what, right? So people need to understand that you have boundaries with them, right? That you can't always be there coming to the rescue. So it's boundaries between work and personal life, and it's boundaries with other people and boundaries with yourself. I see us making a lot of decisions sometimes, whether it's how we eat or things that we indulge in, where it shows we don't have boundaries with ourselves. Okay. Now, this is a big one with in terms of practicing mindfulness, because at a certain point when you're under pressure at home, at work, or in friendships, relationships, you you have to be able to come back to focus on what you can control. So much of our stress is from being stressed out and focusing on the things that we cannot control. And that's a sign that we have to go back and recenter what we can control, right? We have to recenter what we can control. And so mindfulness is just simply being in the present, being aware of without judgment where you are in the present, your thoughts, your feelings, sensations in your body, and just noticing. So that could simply be like doing deep breaths. It could be sitting and just being still. It could be noticing. It could be a guided visualization. And these are things, if you take just 5 minutes per day, it helps to calm you, especially if you do breath work. It helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps to calm you down. It helps to relax you throughout your body, which then helps to relax your mind. And it doesn't have to be something perfect where you're just in such a zen state, but it is the consistent practice of at least 5 minutes per day where you're just sitting with yourself, noticing, not judging, noticing your thoughts, your feelings, your bodily sensations, doing deep breathing. That right there is enough to shift how you are feeling, right? So that mindfulness, especially when things seem overwhelming, when you go back to that, I had a teacher that would say, if you can't control anything else in your life or what's going on with you, you can control your breath. You can control your breathing, right? You can control it. So that is the one thing that you can control. Um, the other thing is being able to think about like feeding yourself, hydration, drink. Sometimes I hear people like, oh my God, I have a headache. I don't know what's wrong. My energy. I'm like, okay, did you drink water today? How has your sleep been, right? It's those little things. So daily stretching, hydrating enough, making sure you get all your checkups, and look at your family history. Like there's some checkups that if you have a family history of certain ailments, then you need to get those checkups. And I don't know if I have told you guys the story of, type 2 diabetes runs in my family, in my maternal family. So the women from my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother have had type 2 diabetes. And my mom said it stops with you. It's a combination of genetics, lifestyle, stressors, the diet that was pushed on us, by the U.S. Food and U.S. Uh, Agricultural Society, not society, but the Department of Agriculture, these food groups and telling you to eat low fat and all of these carbs and stuff like that. a lot of that stuff fueled um, our metabolism getting messed up and what they're calling the metabolic syndromes. And I know I'm going in a different direction, but this all ties together where when it comes to our health, we have to understand our family history, our lifestyle, and even the societal things that they were telling us that have been wrong. So taking control, there's certain tests that if you have had certain things like certain breast cancers, hypertension, diabetes in your family, then you need to get some checkups sometimes earlier than the normal age that you would have it. Like I think your mammograms start at 40, but if you have a history of breast cancer, you might need to be tested for the BRCA gene, or you might need to start getting mammograms earlier. If you have a history of colorectal cancer, you need to start getting colonoscopies early. Okay. The other thing is, oh, I love a good skincare routine, and we're going to talk about that next week. I want to bring my esthetician on here because skincare is a form of just allowing yourself to be taken care of, but also you look vibrant and it shows your vitality and your health and your well-being. And you have got to spend time outdoors. We are coming into spring. We are going to be talking about gardening because I loved the garden I did last summer, but I'm starting earlier this year. So I'm already planning out what I want my garden to look like. And all of this helps you to focus on yourself and your well being and let go of some of the expectations that you may be having for yourself, right? Some of the expectations that you haven't really examined. You just expect that you have to keep going, you have to be excellent, you have to be strong, you have to do for everybody. But sometimes you have to pause and ask yourself, are those expectations that were put on you, or are they expectations that you even want to carry? Maybe you wanted to carry them earlier on, but maybe now, the older and wiser you get, you realize that there is so much that you need to put down, so many burdens that you're carrying that you need to give yourself permission to let them go, right? So, those are some of the things you can do to start to shift and heal this strong black superwoman identity that is putting a lot of us at risk in our health, even our wealth, because we're spread too thin, and most certainly in our relationships, right? And you can go back to any of my videos talking about how being super strong puts you into a masculine energy and it makes your relationships be off balance. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter today. We will definitely be here next Thursday. Definitely keep up with the DMs, letting me know um, what topics you want to talk about. I still want to do some hot seat coaching. So if you are willing and open to it, don't forget to send me a DM message on Instagram. And as always, comment, share, like, and subscribe, of course, but definitely comment what your thoughts are. Definitely like the video and share it. It really, really helps the channel a lot. Okay? All right, you guys. So I will see you next Thursday for the Boundaries to Bliss Lounge. In the meantime, have an amazing